Hey Squatchers, Stubbs here. So this week's video is actually in response to a question I have on one of my other platforms. The question was in the lines of, how do you do resupplies? How do you get food and different kind of stuff that you need? So this week, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shop as if I'm out on the trail hiking, and I'm gonna show you how to take those and put them in a box as if I'm gonna mail it to myself for a resupply. So this should be a pretty fun adventure. You're gonna get to see me go around a grocery store and be filming around people that probably aren't gonna have any idea what I'm doing. It should be pretty fun. So let's go. Before I head inside, I wanna talk about a grocery store layout. We've all been in grocery stores, but I'm not sure how much we've all really paid attention. When you look at a grocery store, all like your perishable items, your items that either need to be cared for or refrigerated or have a short shelf life, is around the edge of the store, right? So as you walk in, all your fruit and vegetables will be there. You'll go to your meat counters, your seafood, your dairy, your frozen items, the bread items, all of those items that can't really survive long will be around those edges. In the center is where you're going to find your more shelf items. It's where you'll find your items that are full of preservatives and that can really last a long time. So my normal shopping, if I'm out shopping for the house, I stay away from the center of the store as much as possible, because that's got all that stuff that really I don't want and I don't need. What I want is all the fresh stuff around the edges of the store. That's all that really good fresh food that isn't full of all those preservatives and high sodium and all that. Backpacking is different. We need those items to be able to last. We need those items to be able to be in our pack for an extended period of time without worrying about it rotting or decaying. And also, really, you need that sodium intake as well. You're sweating all day. You're pushing all those fluids outside of your body and you're working up this sweat and burning all this energy. You need all that stuff back in your body. So as we go in the store, what I'm going to do is I am going to hit the vegetable item, and we're going to talk about some vegetables that can last multiple days in your pack out backpacking. And then from there, we're going to move right on into more of the center of the store with the things that I would take for my backpacking trip. Let's go. The force is strong with me. You want to open. I said you want to open. I lost my Jedi powers. Oh no, I'm back. All right, let's grab a cart. Let's go. Enough goofing around. All right, so we're gonna start off right in the vegetable area, right? So now some vegetables that actually will hold out pretty decent in your pack. One of the best ones you can have is carrots. Carrots can withstand a few days in your pack to be able to get you those fresh vegetables that really your body is gonna desire on top of all that sodium and processed food you're gonna be eating. So carrots are definitely one I highly suggest. On top of carrots, ones like pea pods or broccoli also do really well. Any kind of vegetable that you could leave on your counter for a couple of days and still eat would be great. I would stay away from ones like tomatoes or anything juicy because you're just asking for a mess. A great source of a good healthy fat to have with you out on the trail, avocados. And they're another one that if you grab one that's still pretty stiff, that they can last quite a few days in your pack before even they're really good to eat. I like to just peel those things open and eat it right like an apple. Definitely a good source of food for you. If cheese is something that you desire to bring with you out backpacking, you're gonna wanna make sure that it's a dry cheese. You're gonna make sure that's a hard cheese, like a good brick of Parmesan or something cheddar. But again, you wanna make sure that it's dry and that it's hard. Usually the sharper the cheese is, the better you're gonna be. If you're daring, you could go for the smoked fillets. I'm all set. For the daily calories that I try to shoot for while you're on the trail is around 3,000. Again, that's because you're burning so much that your body needs that kind of energy. Pop-Tarts are a great source for a quick breakfast if you're on the move. And if you get one of the ones with sugar in it or whatever, it's got the higher calories, which can be good. They're definitely not something I try to load up with breakfast, but I'll at least grab a box so that way I can fill it in areas that I'm gonna need it. Let's see what kind of flavors. Not bad for a small town. They got quite a bit of array here. I think we're gonna have to go with the red velvet. Bam! Yeah. This is another product that I personally really like. It's a good way to get a snack out and to get more calories in during the day while you're hiking. They're easy to pack. So I think we're going to grab one of these bad boys. I'm a peanut butter and chocolate fan, so that's what we're gonna do. These have 5 servings per container. Each serving's 140 calories, so that wouldn't be bad for some snacks along the way. All right, now to the dried fruits. I'm not one where I have a dryer and I can do it myself, but most places you come to like this will definitely have something that you can grab. These are good. This right here has 3 servings in 1 bag, and it's 140 calories per serving, so that's definitely helping you get in those calories that you need for energy. I like to mix it up so I don't have all the same thing. That was mangoes. Let's grab... We don't have a whole lot else, actually. I'm not a dates fan. Peaches. Let's see what the peaches is at. 120. There we go. And this one's got 3 servings. That's 8. Right on. Building our stuff. Okay, now we're down to a lot more of the bars. This is a good spot to grab some not just snack bars, but also some breakfast bars to bring along with you for, again, that quick grab for breakfast if you really don't feel like cooking anything or making anything for breakfast. I myself am definitely somebody that I'd love to be able to just grab something and go. So let's pick some pretty good stuff here. These are 3 for $5 down here, and it's got a lot of protein in it. So we'll grab those bad boys right there. Those Cliff Builders are usually pretty good to get your numbers in. And if you grab a whole box like this, it should give you plenty to be able to mix up throughout your day. So those are all 9. Those are 9. Crunchy peanut butter is 11, but I've got a lot of peanut butter stuff in here right now. This one's peanut butter and banana. Add a little bit of a different flavor into it. Awesome. A good way to get in calories and to get in sodium, in case you're finding that you don't really get super hungry out on the trail, is these bad boys, the bouillon cubes, or I probably didn't say that right. Bouillon, something like that. The chicken cubes, right? You usually use them to make soup. You can throw it right in with your water. We have to wait for them to get done. Throw it right in with your water. And to make yourself actual soup, or you can, even as you boil water to cook anything that you're cooking with, throw one of these things in to get your numbers up in case you need more of that substance to give yourself better energy for the next day. Along with using those cubes for the chicken flavor, you can also switch that up and do different things. This one is a leek recipe. So if chicken's not your thing, maybe you're not a meat eater or whatever, you can actually move over to one of these and do the same thing with it. I think I'm gonna add that in and give that a try. All right, the backpacker's best friend and yet worst enemy. I know so many backpackers talk about how sick they get of ramen noodle. But the truth is, ramen noodle is easy to pack. It's super lightweight. It's got a ton of sodium. It's got a lot of calories. It's got, fat in it. It's got the energy and the substance that you need. So it's definitely worth grabbing a few packs and have it in there. That way, if you need some little bit of that nasty stuff, here you go. Blow out those carbs, right? All right, pasta sides. Pasta sides are usually real cheap. You usually can find them on sale. They are very light, being that they just come in these little bags, and you can easily just boil them right in your pot. One of them, this one right here, well, it says 1 serving per container. It's got 650 calories just in one of these. So it's definitely a huge calorie dump. Again, it's a big carb dump too. So you're definitely getting those carbs and a lot of sodium. But if you're out there burning it, it's a good way to replace it. So I think I'm gonna grab a couple of these to throw these along with the rest of my dinners. Tuna Packs. All right, Tuna Packs are great. Tuna Packs come in tons of different flavors. They're usually really cheap. They are healthier for you than some of the other stuff, not really having a lot of the same preservatives that they do in those with all the salt and everything else. So they're definitely a great thing to add. They're good to add even just for snacks, or you put them in with your dinner in order to get more protein and more substance within your dinner. So we're gonna load up on some Tuna Packs. Instant mashed potatoes. Instant mashed potatoes are great because you can add them to whatever meal you're doing. You can add them in with the ramen, you can add them with the rice, and it adds in those calories that you need. This one bag has 4 servings.
Go to the service desk, please. Go to the service desk.
This one bag has 4 servings in it, and each serving is 110 calories. So if you were to add this whole bag in with your dinner, you're looking at adding in 500 calories plus, along with whatever else you're doing. So I always try to throw in a couple of these along with everything else to be able to add into my meals, or even if I just need something extra that day. Rice is definitely a great thing to add, but if I'm gonna add rice, I will actually take the lazier route and I will go with the Uncle Ben's. The reasoning is this is already cooked in the bag. It's already ready to go. So you don't have to even heat this up if you don't want. You can just eat it as is, or you boil your water and put this right in your pot and let it heat up that way. So I'm gonna grab a couple of these to throw in as well. It's always good to have some kind of treat, something that you really enjoy, almost a way to like reward yourself. For that, I like crunchy and I like cheesy. I'm a huge fan of Cheez-Its, but that's just such a big box. But Cheddar Goldfish is a small container, and you can put it in a plastic bag to make it even smaller. And it's just something to get the crunch in your mouth, get saltiness in your mouth, get some more calories in. So I'm gonna be throwing this in along with everything else. All right, we're trying to keep those calorie goings, but trying to keep things easy in order to pack. I just found something that is like an awesome treat to have. Squeezed peanut butter. Peanut butter is delicious to begin with. These packages are nice because they compact as you keep going, and it's got good calories in it, and it's got good flavor, so this is going. If I was packing my bag to head right on the trail right after I left the store, I'd definitely throw in some of these shells. They're a good way to be able to use some of your other products better, like your tuna or even your rice or whatever. If you want to just put it in a vessel and eat it differently, that peanut butter I just grabbed, that would be really good for it too. But being that I'm preparing this to be boxed up and it's not leaving for a while, I'm not going to purchase those because the shelf life isn't as long. It's good for a backpacking trip, but it's not good to be put on a shelf and wait 3 months until I need it. So we're going to leave that where it is. Good old jerky. Jerky is literally how back in the day they used to carry their meat all the time with them when they were out, crossing the prairie or doing whatever it was they're doing, and it works just as good today. The best thing about jerky is you can either eat it like it is, or you can rehydrate it in your food, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to grab a couple of different kinds of jerky. Some will be for snacks and others will be for my actual meals. I'm going to add it in with the stuff as I cook it, and it'll be a really good additive. It'll be a good way to have something different. I didn't think about the fact that the people would be talking through the speakers all the time, but that's all right. I think this is working out good. Jerky. Another good treat to treat yourself with would be chocolate. It helps cut all the sodium that you're eating throughout the day. Again, a lot of calories in it. And it tastes good, and it can be a good morale booster in case you need it for that day. So a little assorted bag like this isn't going to take up a lot of room, and it might be something that's a blessing out on the trail. Another great thing to backpack out for breakfast would be oatmeal. Oatmeal will require you to cook in the morning, but it is definitely a great thing to add, and I'm adding it to my to-go box. So you won't always find everything that you hope you're going to find. Instant coffee, for some reason in this store, isn't a thing. I'm not carrying a Keurig machine out there with me, and I'm not one to carry those pots to percolate. I do either instant coffee or I'll do tea. I'd rather not do tea because then you have the tea bags, and I just think it makes more trash. But it looks like I don't have much of an option here. So I'm gonna grab a nice tea for the morning and use that instead of coffee this time. Gotta go with what you can find, right? These Be Kind bags are another good thing you can add into your arsenal. I'm gonna grab a bag and I'm gonna divide it up into smaller bags to be able to throw it in for my day-to-day snacks. In order to divide my food and organize myself, I use Ziploc bags. Now, Ziploc bags is not something you have to buy every time, as you're gonna be able to walk them down the trail. But you will find that, they might rip, or you might lose one, or you might accidentally throw one away, or one just gets so gross you just don't want to carry it anymore, and you have to replenish them once in a while. I usually grab at least one of the box of gallons, and then I'll get one of the smaller box so I can divide up some of the other things that I need to. Well, folks, that was a pretty good run. I walked out the door $98 with all the supplies that I'm using for the backpacking trip. So that's pretty good. 7 days, $100. That's pretty much on budget, and maybe even a little bit less from the budget, because for a through hike, I'm budgeting about $1,000 a month, and that's only $100 for that week. That's pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that. Now we're gonna head back home. I'm gonna show you how I'm kind of doing my planning. I'm gonna show you how I package and divide, and we'll continue this cool little adventure of practice grocery shopping for hiking. Practice your stuff, right? All right, folks, off to the house. Hello, Squadgers. Magic of Hollywood. Now, here we are back in, I'll call it my studio. I'll be fancy and say, this is my studio where all the great filming and editing and production happens. This is my room. I'll bring back the main question of, how do you plan resupplies? How do you replan getting food that you need? If a box needs to be sent, how do you know that ahead of time? Do you know that ahead of time? How do you kind of figure that all out? The first thing I'll say is you have to do your research on whatever trail that you're doing. Not being able to talk to you exactly on what trail you're doing, I don't know. I can talk to you about the trail that I'm doing, which is the PCT. So the very first thing I did was I just started talking to people, people that had done it before, people that are planning to do it. I asked them, what did you guys do? What were your resources? What are your thoughts? And just bounced ideas off them. I found them on platforms like TikTok. I found them on platforms like YouTube videos like this. I found them on Facebook pages, forums. So really just Google and search out and look. There are a lot of communities, and to be honest, the communities are really great. You not only will find people that will give you great information, but you'll actually make friends out of it. You'll all of a sudden have people talking to you all the time about your passion, backpacking and hiking, because that's their passion too. So it kind of opens up that door to like this really cool new avenue in your life. The second step after you've done that is get literature. This is the book that I purchased. This is one of probably many I will end up with. I really like this book so far. I'm going Sobo, so funny enough, I'm starting in the back and moving my way to the front. But as you go through the book, let me open up to a good page. Here's a good page right here. So as you go through the book, this thing, let's see if I can do it without getting all fuzzy. It gives you mileage between points, and it literally is step by step of every major intersection you come into. This talks about distances between water. It is a really good source. It tells you if there's going to be a road access ahead. So this was a great starting point. And then along with that, I look at my Far Out app, the used to be Gut Hook app. And I can do the same thing, but now take the points that are written in this book and compare those to the points that are on the map of the Far Out. And the Far Out is the same way. The Far Out shows this nice map. It shows pinpoints. You can click on it. Hikers can leave little information down below it, and you can see, this is a really good spot to hitchhike into town, or this town doesn't really have much of anything. And you can use those to kind of gauge what it is that you want to do, right? The third thing I did is I found some blogs of hikers that have done this before. Again, stand on the shoulders to people who are victorious before you, right? And I looked at their plan and what worked for them. The two that I found, they are a little bit quicker than what I'm going to be in the beginning. They're running right out of the gate. And I know that with my skill level, that's not quite what I'm going to be doing. So I had to gauge my time and add on like maybe an extra day's worth of food between the supplies so that I knew I could make up those miles, that they were hitting those top miles every single day right out of the gate. So by comparing their notes and what spots they said weren't good to be able to get food, along with this and the Gut Hook app, that's how I made my decision of, okay, I'm going to need to send a box here. And in this book, when you get to that spot, like right here, I don't know if you can see that, it actually has a full-on address to that spot where you need to send the box. So now all you need to do is just map your way out, map down, okay, I can get to a town here and go resupply. Now I need food for around 7 days. Will get me here, resupply. I know when I hit here, I'm hitting that spot that's hard to get good food. There's nothing but just a gas station where you'll get nothing but chips. You're not really getting what you need. I'm going to need to send a box there. And here's the address on where I need to send the box. So either A, you need to be talking to your family the whole time and being like, hey, I'm getting close to that spot, send it out, blah, blah, blah. Or B, have something else set up beforehand. I personally, I'm just going to be talking to my home base here. I'm going to be talking to my folks. I know they're going to be paying attention the whole time anyways. And I'm just going to let them know, hey, in a week, I'm going to be at that spot. Go ahead and shoot that box out. Now, concerns with boxes. So you go to get to that spot. One concern is the place is closed. You didn't make it there during their operating hours or whatever. So if that happens, you might get stuck waiting for your stuff. And depending on what kind of place it is, you could be stuck waiting there over the weekend if it's a post office box and they're not open or whatever. So make sure you know that beforehand. Number two might be when you get to that spot, you still have a bunch of stuff left over. You bought too much food before or whatever. So you're saying to yourself, I really don't need this. If I actually go to that gas station and just get a little bit of stuff with the stuff that I have, I can get to that next town. You can then do what they call bounce a box for free, which means if you haven't opened that box, as long as it's a post office, I got to say that, as long as it's a post office, if you haven't opened that box yet, you don't need it, you can bounce it to the next spot and they will just move it along down the trail and you can catch up to it. So to kind of bring all this together, what you need to do is do your research. Talk to people who've done it before. Stand on the shoulders of those who are victorious. Stand next to those that are doing it right along with you. Read, and you'll find your path. You'll find a way. It's out there, and it's really not that difficult. So now that we've kind of gone over how I'm doing my planning, I'm going to show you how I'm packing everything up. All right, Squatchers, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to divide the food out. I'm going to lay it all out here so that I can get a visual on my day-to-day and kind of get a calculation on my calories. From what I got at the grocery store, my calories will be between 2,000 and 3,000. 3,000 is more of the number that I want. But at the same time, I need to be realistic of how much I'm going to be able to eat. For some reason, I'm just one of those people that while hiking during the day, I'm not much of an eater, which is much different than my hiking buddy whose trail name is Snacks for a reason. But, so let's get going. It's crazy to look at this and see all this sitting out, knowing that this is literally what you're going to live off from for a week. But, okay, so as I mentioned before, I bought 2 Ziploc bags, right? I bought a large 1-gallon thing here, okay? And then I bought the smaller one. Now I bought the smaller one so that as I divide some of this stuff, I can divide like these guys, and I can divide anything that is going to need to kind of be separate within the bag. It's not like the bars that you can just throw in the Ziploc bag and be like, yep, that's good. You know, like the mangoes and stuff like that. So that's what I got this for. So now we're going to start dividing out per day. So while doing this, what I'm trying to do is make it so that my days are mixed up. I'm trying to make it so that I'm not eating the same thing every day, because you will get bored of what you're eating, especially if you're doing these long trips where you're out there for 6 months trying to do this. If you're eating the same thing for a week straight, you're not going to want to eat. You're not going to want to put in those calories that your body really, really needs. And you're going to feel more like you're forcing yourself. I grabbed these to add in with my breakfast. Little smoky sausages. I'm going to add this in along with the breakfast. Get a good crunch in there along with everything else that I'm having. This says that it does serving size of 5. I'm split up in 6. It'll be fine. All right, now that I have my breakfast situated, after breakfast would be just a snack to have while hiking. And that is where these come in for a good hiking snack. Probably better if I knelt down, huh? That way you're not staring at my belly the whole time. All right. So the next would be lunch. And again, I'm the type of person that have a hard time stopping and actually eating. So for me, a lunch is going to be a lot lighter. So for lunch, I grabbed tuna and then grabbed some fruit to have along with it. The fruit is in one bag, so again, I have to divide it out. All right, after lunch, I'll probably end up wanting another snack between then and dinner. So I have more bars here. All right, so now we have to get dinner in there. With dinner, no different than what I've tried to do with everything else. Try to spread everything out so that way you're not eating the same kind of stuff back to back and getting bored of what you're eating. So what you see laid out is my set up calories to eat throughout the day. Now this isn't all that I eat, and I'll explain that in just a second. So this is the food laid out day to day per each meal for all 6 days here. We got breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. And that's the way I've laid out each one, trying to alternate the kind of stuff that's in them to keep it interesting so that you don't get bored. Each one of these rows has roughly 2,500 calories in it. a little bit less calories than what I'm really shooting for. I'm really shooting for that 3,000. But the reason why I'm not super concerned is because this is also going with them. Right here is enough food for another 2 days. But it has calorie fillers in it. It has the chocolate that I talked about that was going to be a reward chocolate. It has the crackers that I really like. It's got that Skippy to get extra calories in. It's got that chicken broth. It's got whole extra meals in case I need it, either by needing calories or if I'm a little slower than what I thought it was going to be and I need another day's worth of food. You always want to make sure to have that extra. Okay, so now time for, I guess it would be step 3 or 4 by now. I don't know what step I'm on, but now what I do is I take the large Ziploc bags and I write day 1, day 2, and so on. And I put all this inside of those bags to ensure that you're not overeating and eating calories that you're going to need for the next day. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write what day it is on the bag and then put that day's worth of food inside the bag and set it aside and get it ready to be shipped out for me when I need it on the trail. And there we have it. Every day is in its own Ziploc bag so that I can control how many calories I'm getting in that day. And if I need to, I have those extra food items that I bring along with me to either get more calories in if I'm really feeling hungry, or if I'm going to be longer than what I expected, I have those extra food to be able to hold me over. I really hope this has been helpful. I hope that, maybe I helped give you some good ideas on how you can plan your through hike or long hike that you're working on. Know that I'm still learning. I mentioned that when I first started all these channels. You're learning as I learn. This is new stuff that I'm researching. So after I do this a couple times, I might all of a sudden jump on and be like, hey, I just found out a game changer, and I might throw it in there. Or if you have some kind of game changer or some kind of great idea, go right ahead, jump down in the comments, throw it out there. Let's talk about it and let's learn from each other. That's what this is all about. Thank you for coming along and going grocery shopping with me and helping me pack up for a nice trip that I got coming up. And yeah, I'm excited. Now I get all this food and I want to go hiking with it. Well, thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I enjoyed making it. And I will see you next Thursday. See you, Squatchers. End of the video bonus material. Let's see if I can get it inside of this thing. I mean, I already have a bunch of garbage in here. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to pack the bear can. I'm not really sure. Screw it. Let's figure it out. I can't even get this stupid thing open. Where's my knife? Knife. So I talked about the issues with putting this inside of your food pot, but my little brain got it running. And I thought of something. Wrap it in one of the many handkerchiefs you bring. That way the rust will get caught in this. It's not gonna get in the pot, and I can put this inside the pot because right now I need the room. I'm trying to stuff everything in here. Why don't I bring you all closer as I try to do this? Why should you have to watch me struggle from all the way back there? Get the front row seat, right? Okay, so we're gonna put this in here. The stove can fit in there as well. So we're ready, we're saving some room. Need that out anymore. I'm gonna save this for last. This is my toothpaste and stuff. To me, that should be on top. So wow, guys. If I tried it this way. A little better? Seems like it's a little better. I don't know how I'm going to get that extra food all in there. This is the big can too. Okay, what if we saw what happened? I don't have to have those in there. I just did that. When we take that stuff out, try it. Anything else in there? I mean, so yeah, I can jam 6 days worth of food in here. That would have to just be in my pack, but the stuff's gonna smell and I don't have room for the extra food. This is supposed to be able to last 7 to 10 days. It's supposed to be able to fit inside this guy. And that's 6 days and it's blowing out of the top. There we go. So that's 6 days worth of food, but I still have a whole nother bag's worth of food I was planning on putting in that thing. There's no way that's fitting in there. I got some working out to do for the next time.